A theme we've talked about a lot here on the program in the last couple of weeks, and what I'm sure we're going to talk about in the next few years, is ESG investing. And we continue to see, Julie Hyman, investors coming in and agitating for change, and Exxon now the target of a new activist campaign. And it comes at a really interesting time, not only for ESG investing, but for Exxon's corporate history.
Yes, most definitely. I mean, Exxon, you could argue, is at an inflection point here. The share's down some 40% this year as we've seen oil and gas prices fluctuate. It's down a little bit more this morning. This company that's agitating for change at Exxon is called Engine Number One. It's actually a new company. It was founded by a guy named Chris James, mostly to actually manage his own wealth, which he has gotten through the technology industry. And it has focused on some renewable and ESG plays, but the issues that they outline in a letter to Exxon go far beyond sort of refocusing on renewables. It has to do with operations. It has to do with the amount of debt that the company is carrying. And Brian Sozzi, it has to do with changing the board complexion here as we look at Synchrony ringing the opening bell there at the NYSE this morning, Brian.
Right, Julie. At first blush, you think Exxon has an absolutely tremendous board. There are some serious, really some well-known business leaders on this board. Ursula Burns, Ken Frazier, Douglas Oberhelm. He was the former CEO of Caterpillar. Sam Palmisano, former CEO of IBM. But this note from Engine makes a very good point. I think a lot of boards can learn from. Just because you've been a top flight CEO somewhere else, you may not bring a lot of great relevant experience to that company. So this particular letter is saying they want 4 new board members on the Exxon board with actual oil field experience. Go figure. Exxon should have a member on its board besides the CEO, Darren Woods, that has oil field experience. I don't think that's too much to ask for, especially for a company the size of Exxon and that has that prominence out there in the markets.
And I think another thing with this letter too is, we've talked on the program before about how this cycle is so compressed in terms of the market bottoming and then the bull market returning. Activism, of course, is, I'd call it like a midpoint part of a bull cycle, and we're beginning to see activism already here with investors. Again, thirsty cash is out there. They're trying to unlock value wherever they can, and going in, sending a mean letter to the board and saying, "Hey, we want some change." That is a tried and true method to extract a little bit of value here for shareholders.